What is one must-read book about success for youngsters?
I definitely think it's Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, and he puts a really interesting twist on it. He kind of puts success down to a couple different factors. The first thing he says is that it's not actually random at all, but it arises out of a predictable and powerful set of different circumstances. So in other words, you're basically not born a genius. You got to put in the work, and sometimes it's actually all about when you start. But he also coined this idea of like the 10,000 hour rule, which he says it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at anything. And the example that he gives of that is like the Beatles. They spent years and years and years playing these tiny little gigs every night for like 5 hours a night. And they do that 7, sometimes maybe eight times a week. And then if you think about the hours stacking up, all of a sudden the Beatles became pretty awesome, as is, I'm sure it's no surprise to anyone. But like that's where they got their 10,000 hours from. But equally as importantly as the 10,000 hours is the timing of those 10,000 hours. So Outliers talks about like a really good example of like all the super tech billionaires of the world now were all born in the same 2-year span. I think it was around like 1955 for Bill Gates, and like Steve Jobs was 1954. And they were all born in the same area in that year because they were around 20 when PCs came into existence. So they were at the perfect time to be in the tech world and excited by the tech world as it was really starting to kick off. And then obviously they've made the success they have. But anyways, that's an outlier. You see what I did there. Your success isn't just about working hard, but it's about putting in the right hours at the right time. Anyways, Outliers. Great book about success.